It is May 2nd, 2023, and this is the latest news update for Medellin, Colombia, and Colombia as a whole. Follow along.
You're watching dcbornrob, Erasing Borders. And now, news.
Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is you're located. Thanks for watching. My name is Rob Christian, also known as dcbornrob or dcrob. I've got quite a few good news stories for you this time. All of the stories are from El Colombiano or Minuto 30, so I'm not going to announce it each time because what I've had to do is take the story and rewrite it so that the punctuations are different and I don't stumble that much when I'm reading it. So let's jump into the first story. This one is about a Swedish gentleman that was captured by, or is captured and held by the ELN there in Colombia. This is different. The Swedish guy that I reported on last week, that gentleman is still missing, from what I understand, still missing, but he was Swedish/Iranian. Prayers for him and good vibes. So hopefully they find him soon. But this is a different story. So let's just jump into this story right here. Colombia alert, Swedish national kidnapped by ELN in Tibu, north of Santander for espionage, per April 26th reports. Likely targeted, not reflective of increased threat of kidnappings to foreigners. Please be advised. The Frente Guerra Nororiental faction of the Ejército de Liberación Nacional announced on April 26th that it has kidnapped a Swedish national, Ulf Bilger Erlingsson, since March 1st. The victim was kidnapped in Tibu, north to Santander, after being accused by the FGN of carrying out espionage activities aimed at destabilizing democratic governments in Latin America. Preliminary reports suggest that Erlingsson had rented a vehicle in Cucuta, north to Santander, and was traveling alone across the Catatumbo region when he was captured by FGN members. Further details on the specific instances of the kidnapping remain unconfirmed as of writing. The FGN announced that Erlingsson will be released with the intervention of Swedish authorities, the Catholic Church, the local ombudsman's office, and unspecified international humanitarian organizations. Reports indicate that Erlingsson was filming a documentary about culture and trade along the Colombian-Venezuelan border. Further, he has posted videos on social media criticizing the Venezuelan government under President Nicolas Maduro, as well as the alleged criminal political nexus in Venezuela. Erlingsson reportedly founded the NGO Operation Libertad Venezuela in 2011, aimed at denouncing alleged human rights violations in Venezuela. The incident precedes the beginning of the third round of past total peace negotiations between the ELN and the Colombian government, scheduled for May 2nd in Havana, Cuba. Okay, so there you go. So my next story is the fact that last week I reported that the cabinet was dissolved. This week, he actually reinstates his new cabinet. So let's jump into this story here. This Monday, President Petro will swear in his new ministers. They will take an oath this Monday at the Casa de Nariño to fulfill the tasks entrusted to them by the president. Before starting his trip to Spain, where he has a state visit, President Gustavo Petro will inaugurate his ministers this Monday and also another balcony shot from the Casa de Nariño, this to celebrate Labor Day. After the sudden cabinet crisis that he had last Tuesday, Petro adjusted his cabinet on Wednesday, when he announced that the finance ministers, Jose Antonio Ocampo, Agriculture, Cecilia Lopez of the Interior, Alfonso Prada of Health, Carolina Corcho of Science, Arturo Luna of Technologies, Sandra Arusha and Transportation, Guillermo Reyes. In his replacement came Ricardo Bonilla, Minister of Finance, Jennifer Magica, Minister of Agriculture, Luis Fernando Velasco, Minister of the Interior, Guillermo Alfonso Jaramillo, Minister of Health, Yesenia Alea, Minister of Science, Mauricio Lizcano, Minister of Technologies, and William Camargo, Minister of Transportation. Carlos Ramon Gonzalez came to replace Lizcano at Dapper, and it will be precisely they who will take office this Monday morning in the Casa de Nariño to begin to fulfill their tasks, part of which Petro was already notified in a first meeting the previous week, as well as in his pronouncements in the social networks. For example, Minister Vanilla recalled that with him we achieved a fiscal surplus and improved Bogota's risk ratings in my mayor's office. Nothing different will happen in Colombia. The Bank of the Republic will remain independent. He asked the Minister of Agriculture, Jennifer Magica Flores, to title and deliver land to the peasants should be the daily work of the government day and night. I asked the agrarian entities that have this objective to start working night shifts. Okay, so there you go. So my next story is about Petro again, but this is Petro/Maduro. That's right. They have become, I don't know if they become friends or buds or whatever, but he's trying to bring Venezuela. Petro is attempting to help Maduro bring Venezuela back into the fold. So let's jump into this story. Colombia, Venezuela presidents meet as ties keep improving. Nicolas Maduro and Gustavo Petro holding talks in Caracas as neighboring countries repair relationships severed in 2019. The presidents of Colombia and Venezuela have met for the first time in years as the neighboring countries continue to repair their relationship and push to deepen economic ties. The talks in the Venezuelan capital, Caracas, on Tuesday between Colombia's new left-wing president Gustavo Petro and Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro come just weeks after the two nations reopened key shared border crossings. Petro, who took office in August, had promised to reset Colombia's ties to Venezuela, which were severed in 2019 due to political tensions and security issues along the border. In a statement before Tuesday's talks, Petro's office said he and Maduro would discuss bilateral relations, reopening the border and reintegrating Venezuela into the inter-American human rights systems. The meeting also comes as part of efforts to boost regional economies and protect the Amazon, it said. Petro was met at Simon Bolivar International Airport by Vice President Delcy Rodriguez and Foreign Minister Carlos Faria around 1:40 p.m. local time before leaving for the presidential palace to meet with Maduro. For 6 years, there has been a political vacuum between two neighboring countries, Colombia and Venezuela, Petro said at a Colombian military airport before leaving for Caracas. We of course have a lot to say to each other after all that time, he said, adding that the meeting's agenda was wide open. Al Jazeera's Alessandro Rampietti, reporting from Bogota, said the talks are very significant for both countries and mark the first time that a Colombian president traveled to Venezuelan territory since 2016. Rampietti explained that Maduro is hoping to use the meeting to show that he might not be that isolated after all in the region, while Petro made a clear demand for Venezuela to return to inter-American rights systems and courts. This is a way for Gustavo Petro to be seen not as somebody who is legitimizing Maduro, Rampietti said, but he's hoping to be seen as a mediator here, bringing Venezuela back into the International Organization of the American States. Okay, over the past, few weeks, there's been a couple of games, normally up in Office 70 at the stadium. There's been riots, there's been all different type of things going on. So let's jump into this story right quick on that. A clash between National and Medellin fans erupted after the Antioquia soccer classic outside the Atanasio Girardot Stadium, resulting in 2 deaths and 14 injuries in the Estadio neighborhood during the early hours of Sunday. Reports suggest that around 300 fans from both teams confronted each other in the Estadio neighborhood sector, resulting in a pitched battle. Several videos recorded by passers-by showed the fatalities, whose bodies were dragged by the mob and then left lying on the public road. The fatalities were attacked with sharp weapons and blunt objects, according to Colonel Henry Bello Cubites, Operations and Citizen Security Commander of the Aburra Valley Metropolitan Police. The injured were transferred to care centers for recovery. The 2 people who died were Anderson Stephen Jaramillo Canaveral, 34 years old, and Alejandro Gallego Torres, 25 years old, who were found with multiple wounds. A person was arrested in connection with the incident, and the matter is under investigation. The mayor of Medellin, Daniel Quintero, accused the 2 people who lost their lives of being the main culprits in the fight and announced a reward of up to $200 million pesos for information that would help identify the other involved parties. The event has sparked widespread condemnation, with several opinion leaders speaking out against the excesses and violence exerted by fans and appealing for citizens to abide by the rules of citizen coexistence to prevent such events from happening again. Okay, my next story is about a gentleman who, we don't know if he was pushed, jumped, or whatever, but he was an extraditable. He was accused of sexual assault of a minor, and he is extraditable back to the United States, but something happened, and I'll tell you in this story. This story is entitled, "An Extraditable Died After Falling from the 3rd Floor of the Bunker of the Prosecutor's Office in Medellin." This is a 43-year-old man who was required by a United States court for the crime of child pornography. The man who was detained in the bunker of the prosecutor's office in Medellin died after falling from a 3rd floor in events that are still being investigated by the authorities. The event occurred last Wednesday, April 26, when the prisoner, identified as Daniel Gilberto Alvarez Aya, 43, was thrown out of a window of that building located in the Caribbean neighborhood, north of Medellin. According to the records, Alvarez Aya was required by a court in the city of New York, United States, to answer for the crime of child pornography. Before being captured, Alvarez worked as a teacher at the National Learning Service, where, according to his resume, he taught English and leather design and manufacturing classes. For now, it is unknown if the ex-teacher would have fallen into the void by accident in the middle of a possible escape attempt, or would have attempted his life. After the strong impact, the man was rushed to a medical center, but died due to the seriousness of his injuries. Okay, so if you remember a story that I did, a couple of stories on chick, she's not paying. If you remember, and I think I entitled it, Chick Who Ain't Paying. She's got on buses, she's been in restaurants, she's been on public transportation and taxis, and she got called out for it because now everybody recognizes her. Well, she's got a story to pass on to you. So let me read to you what she says is the issue, and it has got something to do with a foreigner. Go figure. Check this out. This story is entitled, I am pregnant and I have no recourse. Daniela, the woman who does not pay for taxi services. A woman sent a message indicating that she is pregnant and that the father of her child is an Irishman who has left the country and has lost contact with her. She mentioned that the hotel where they stayed refuses to provide details of the man's identity and location due to the habeas data law. Regarding her behavior of not paying for services like taxis, buses, restaurants, and hotels, she said that she doesn't have enough resources to support herself and has been forced to not pay for certain services. She provided 2 reasons to excuse her actions. Firstly, because she hasn't had the resources to pay, and secondly, because some of the services provided were unsatisfactory. The woman requested not to be harassed in public places and asked for understanding and support instead. She also requested a lawyer to help her in her case, particularly in relation to the hotel, so that they provide her with the details of the Irishman with whom she spent the night on December 18, 2022. Okay, as we finish up and round up, I like to end on something that's a little more positive, and this time it's going to be on the best burger. There's a best burger contest in Medellin, Colombia, and well, actually in that area. So there's a few different places too, and I'm going to list those off shortly. But if you're in town, you're going to want to check this out. It's May, well, I'll tell you in the story. It's May something in the story. But also, I have a new story coming also. So look out for this one also, and it has to do with gentrification in Medellin. Yes, it's an issue. There's organizations that are organizing to go against people of American descent, German descent, European descent who are coming to Medellin, buying up the property and raising the rents for everyone. So there's a lack of a rentable space in the country now, or at least in Medellin. So look for that story soon. But let's jump into this last one, and this one has to do with the best burger. The 5th edition of Burger Master will take place from May 15th to the 22nd in 25 cities and municipalities throughout the country. This year, the price of each burger will be 16,000 pesos, and voting for the best burger in each city will be through the Chileo Recommends platform. There will not be a special theme, but the objective is to make the best hamburger in the world. Chileo Zologa aims to provide an experience rather than break records and hopes to make people leave the festival feeling happy. The ideal burger varies by region, and Chileo prefers good bread, loose meat, and vegetables like lettuce, tomato, and onion. This year, there will also be a space for treasures located in the towns. As for future projects, Chileo is considering a project dedicated to Colombian food. Okay, so there you go. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Look out for more news coming soon. Hopefully I'll do another documentary type video before the end of the week. Look out for my other channel in Houston. I'm starting to pick that one back up, Big City Houston. Remember, travel, but travel safe.
So I hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure you go down and hit subscribe. And definitely like. It helps that YouTube algorithm. You know what I'm talking about? See what I'm saying?
Join me on social media. I am dcbornrob official on Instagram. I am dcbornrob official 1 on TikTok. I am dcbornrob O on Twitter. Don't be like this guy right here.
You're just so stupid. I had to send you a video to let you know you're so stupid.
That's right. Don't be like this guy right here. Join me on social media. If you're in Medellin and you need dental work done, from a basic cleaning to major reconstructive surgery, come see my guy, Dr. Carlos Maury. Contact information in the description below. Headed to Medellin, Colombia? See my guy Andres with Nomad Travel for safe airport pickups and drop-offs and tours. Contact information in the description below.